Hey guys, I'm aware that you can't see me that well, and it's kind of a bit on purpose because it's not about seeing me, it's about the message that I have for you. Um, okay, I'm going to speak about grid work, about dimensions, about the darkness, and what else wants to be shared. So, grid work, my last video I already spoke about it. I've been diving into the teachings of Matthias De Stefano. I will put his name in the description of this video. If you don't know him, you will, if you resonate with what I share, you will love his teachings. He is a human being. Well, he is spirit in human form. And he teaches what Neville and Seth also teach us. And he has even more depth to it, and he has more explanations, which I was really craving for. I was craving for more understanding, and I was also craving for more feminine aspects to the teachings. Neville and Seth are very matter of fact, and I identify very much with the feminine. And the feminine to me is rituals, is honoring, is devotion, the angelic realm, God, goddesses. This is all an aspect of feminine to me. And Matthias shares a lot about these things as well. So I am really happy that I decided to open up to that. And the grid work. So he's a grid worker too. And I heard from my new mentor that the blue whales, like the largest animal on the planet, well, I said planets, I don't know, planet Earth. They are grid workers too. So what is a grid worker? Like, I'm still exploring what it is, but this is how I feel it to be, partly, because I will unpack it as I grow, as I continue to live on planet Earth. A grid worker is a being that is called to go to places, cities, countries, people, called to experiences, and then collect energy, leave behind energy, spread energy, opening portals, connecting to portals. I'll give you two really amazing, outstanding experiences. Well, actually, no, there are more, but I want to share two with you that I had in my past trip to New Zealand. So one was, there's a volcano called Tongariro, and there's a trek that is 8.5 hours, well, depends on how fast you walk, but like 8.5 hours we took to cross the Tongariro. And it's a volcano in the middle of the North Island. I was staying with someone whose wife had her 40th birthday in November of last year. So I was invited to this birthday, which was pretty special because they just 2 months before they got to know me. And so I was invited to do the Tongariro. I had no idea what it was, and when I go traveling, I don't look like, oh, I want to go there, I want to go there. No, I just go, and then I'm guided to go to places. I've always done it like this, which is really interesting. I never feel like looking up stuff. I'm just like, no, I'm there, and then I'll see what's going to happen. And now I know that it's part of my design. Anyway, that was a sidestep. So I didn't know if I wanted to go. And to be honest, I was also thinking like, do I want to spend money on that? Because it's probably going to be a pretty expensive trip. And even though I know that this type of thinking doesn't work and is actually something that I don't buy into most of the time, it's what came up. And it also was something that I was thinking about. I just let that be. I thought, okay, well, if that's how I think about it, that's how I think about it. So I wasn't even sure if I still was going to be in that area in New Zealand. So months pass, and I get a message on Facebook again from the husband of this woman, and it was a surprise trip actually. So he said, "Hey Monique, I want to make the arrangements. Let me know if you want to come." And I was like, "Oh, let me properly read this email that he sent out already a couple of months ago." And in the email it said, it was going to be a surprise. He was going to arrange everything, the Airbnb, the trip there, the food, everything was going to be arranged for us. And I was like, okay, I need to be there. I don't know why, but I need to do this. And what was even more magical was that the party that was going to do this track consisted of me and 3 others. So the birthday girl, one of her best friends, she's a shaman. Or actually, I should say she's an actively working shaman, because I believe that one of my versions is also a shaman, but I will get into that in a minute. And with a light worker and yoga teacher, well, and the birthday girl, and she's also yoga teacher, light worker. All how do you call it? Yeah, it doesn't really matter what they are. So only we could make it. None of the other people that were invited could make it. And what was so special was that we had a special bond together. It will take too long for me to get into that. But the trip was, it was some kind of an initiation. The weather was awful. The guide that led us to the volcano kept saying, and there were more people in the bus that were going there, if you want to cancel, you can. I don't offer this often, but if you are 2 hours in and you're like, I don't want this anymore, come back, call me, and I'll come to pick you up, because the weather is actually not suitable for this. I heard later from a friend of mine that friends of hers were going, were planning to do the walk, and they canceled it. So we did it, even though the weather was awful. We felt amazing. There was hardly anyone on that mountain, volcano, because of the weather. And I was soaking wet, like to the bone. I was soaking wet, and I felt amazing. It was something else. And so I knew I needed to be there. I knew I needed to be there with exactly these women. And I also know that it was an initiation of some kind. And so that's one thing that I was like, because then I didn't realize that what I'm doing is grid work. Now I do realize it. And then the other thing that I would love to share with you is that I had an amazing experience with the sun. So my body automatically would wake up at a certain time and push me out of the door. Like literally, it would be like 4:30, 5:30, and it's like, okay, well, I'm just going with it. And then every time I would walk to wherever I was, to the beach, to where I could see the sunrise. And this one morning, the sun rose, and I was looking at it from a really interesting angle. And all of a sudden, the sun turned white, and it was like 2D, and like a circle around the sun that was flickering. And then all of a sudden, this pink appears around the sun, and then rainbow colors around those colors. And I didn't know what was happening, because I'd never experienced that before. I also had no idea what it was, and I stood there for 30 minutes, nailed to the ground, looking at the sun, mesmerized and unbelievably grateful for that experience. And what I know is that it was some kind of other initiation, and it was the aura of the sun. So it's not a sun, because you also have what do they call this? Like this ring around the sun you sometimes see. It was not that. It was something different. I tried to look it up. No one could explain it to me online. Someone else said to me, you had an initiation, and so it's about what do I make of it. Well, ever since I had that experience with the sun, my intuition and my synchronicities have like exploded even more than before. So for me, I know it was an initiation. Also, when I looked up online, I was like, what is the color of the sun? An article from NASA actually also says the sun is white. It's not yellow, it's white. So if you would like to experience this, if you feel the call to experience this, then I know that this is also your path, because otherwise you wouldn't feel that draw, that pull. Then only do it in the morning, because I also did this when the sun was higher in the sky. I stood for an hour watching the sun from this certain angle that you can see the white. It was too strong, and what happened as a consequence was that for I think 6 weeks I had this weird dot in my eyes, and I couldn't see completely normal. I wasn't scared because I knew it would be fine. It was just not so smart. So don't do it when the sun's too high. Do it early in the morning and later in the evening when the sun is not too strong. And your eyes, your body will know what to do. So yeah, that's the second thing that I wanted to share. About dimensions. So this is from Matthias de Stefano. And what he shares about dimensions is this. There are, I believe, 9 dimensions. He speaks about the 7 dimensions. And so dimension is not a different place. We're in all the dimensions at the same time. But what we experience now here, when you listen to this, when you look at me, and when I'm here talking to you, that's the 3rd dimension. But we're in all dimensions at the same time. And how are you there? Well, through feelings. Like when you feel super blissful, you're in the 7th dimension. When you are full of love and without judgment, you're in the 7th. So this is how you are in the different dimensions. A dimension is not something where you can get to. You are there through your feelings and emotions. What I also love about one of the recent videos of him that I saw, and I will transcribe part of this video on my blog, and as soon as I do, I will share it with you so you can read part of it. It's on Gaia, by the way, this series, if you're interested in watching the videos yourself. It's called Initiation from Matthias de Stefano. What he was also sharing, which I adore, which links in with what we already know through Seth and Neville, is that all is mind. Everything is created from thoughts. Everything is created from the Word. And first there was the Word, and the Word was with God. All of these things are not just fanciful, meaningless words. It is all truth. The thing is, religion hijacked it. And now people like Matthias de Stefano are unhijacking it and sharing it with the world so that we can feel the truth of this. And this man, this amazing human being, what he has decided to be already 60 million years ago for the planet. So he's been on this journey 12,000 years, and he explains all of this in his videos on Gaia. So go check these out. But so he helps unlock certain things on planet Earth. He helps to shift and change the energy, so we go from I'm not responsible, everyone is to blame but me, blah blah blah, to love, to compassion, to honoring, to devotion. Holy shit, it's amazing. And so the last thing that I want to share with you is that, no, there are a couple of things that I want. So one thing is, if you feel drawn to this and you feel something happening in your body, then I've got you. Like, I know that you can sometimes feel crazy, because I feel crazy a lot of the times. But through people like Matthias Stefano and my new mentor, I feel confident to share this because I'm not alone, and the group of people that is mentored by her are all people that are on the same wavelength. And the fact that you're watching this means that something in you is also ready to step up to what you came here to do. Because we're here to have fun. We're here to do work, but fun work. Like, not, it's not about being a martyr. It's about owning up to who you are, owning up to the dragon in you, to the goddess in you, to the god in you, to marrying the masculine and the feminine within you. So that's one. Then the last thing that I'm going to share, it's a bit freaky, and it's cool as well. I will have to do a couple of steps back to when I still was living in my apartment in Amsterdam, and I was still working a full-time job. And my cat Binky, who is now over the rainbow and is still with us, he had caught a bird, and I have no idea how he did this. But so there was a net spanning, I think that's the word, spanning, in front of my balcony, so that he couldn't jump over. And so this bird, he caught the bird had his wings spread like this, was stuck in the net, and there was no head anymore. And Binky, like, I still remember how he looked at me. He looked at me like he was from a different dimension, like he was some kind of a messenger. I'm not kidding you. So he was looking at me like really confident, and he was very calm, and I freaked out. I thought, fuck, what, like, first of all, how and what? But I was also really attracted to it. Looked so beautiful, these wings, but I was also so freaked out about all of this. So I threw it away. And all these years I thought, fuck, it would have been so cool to still have these wings, because I'm also really drawn to feathers. And now I know that everything that dies and everything that lives and everything that gets wounded and whatnot, it's a co-creation. It's part of the plan. It's part of the choice of the being that's being killed, that's dying, that's hurt, that's whatever. So a little sidestep, because I told you I was going to speak about darkness. Darkness is real, but it's nothing to be scared of. Darkness, we need to have the light. It's part of the duality of the Trinity, actually, because the third point is the center from which you can see the darkness and you can see the light and you can choose. It's nothing to be scared of. It's a necessity. It's just part of this world. So that's about darkness. Now I know that everything, so it was a co-creation with the bird, Binky, and me, this experience. I wasn't ready for it yet. Fast forward to a couple of days ago. I've been collecting feathers for a couple of months now, but a couple of weeks, like really seriously, and making things with them. Then all of a sudden I run into this. This is a wing of, I think it's a sparrow. And also like, how did I even notice, right? Because it's not big. Like when you're on the, I was on the bike and I just, yeah, I connected with it. And I thought, oh, I would love to have a bigger wing. But also at the same time, I thought, oh, don't wish it because then you will get it. And I don't want anything to die, because of my wish, which actually cannot happen, because everything is a co-creation. So then I was on my way to a yoga class. I spoke about this the other day when I spoke about how I was thinking about Santiago de Compostela, and it's in my last video. And the teacher spoke about Santiago de Compostela, and I thought, what is this? That day there was a dead bird. And it was a young bird, and I was thinking, oh, shall I take it with me? And I was like, oh no, I'm a bit grossed out. I'm not going to do that. So I left it. I left the bird there. And then 2 days ago, I was on my morning walk really early, and I see a dead bird again. And I was thinking again, shall I take it with me? And I was a bit freaked out about it again. I thought, no, I don't want to. So I come home and I listened to a pre-recorded video of my mentor. And the video that I listened to is from July 2021. And what do you think she speaks about in that video? About how she found an owl on the side of the road, decided to take it with her, to take the wings off and then ritually buried the owl, and now has the owl wings. And I thought, okay, I have to get the owl, the bird. I was like, fuck, okay, I'm going. I was really freaking out and grossed out, everything at the same time. So I went back, felt awful, like everything was going on inside of me. Went back, got the bird, put it in a bag, was ashamed and like think it, and I was feeling it, everything that was not so nice. And I was listening at the same time to an audiobook, and then I see another dead bird that was run over by a car, and at the same time the person in the audiobook says roadkill. And I thought, okay, yeah, synchronicity. Nice, guys. I know. Right time, right everything. I go home, and I was like, okay, shit, how am I going to do this? Okay, so I got a knife. I got some eucalyptus oil, and I get the bird out of the bag, and this amazing stench comes towards me, and I see maggots, and I was like, no, I'm out. No, this is too much. Yes, I've eaten meat in my time, in my life. I'm not going to do this. So I said, hey, to my higher self, fine that you get me on this path, but if you want me to get a wing, then get me, a clean bird and like help me out here, because I'm not going to do this shit. Yeah. So I went to the park, took some rose leaves with me, put the dead bird in the park, rose leaves on there, stenchy bag, threw it in the bin somewhere alongside the road, and went back home. And I was so freaked out. Then I had to go back to the supermarket to get something that I wanted, and I was planning to take a certain route home. I took the wrong route, so yeah, doesn't matter. So I took the wrong route. I run into another dead bird. And this bird, believe it or not, one of its wings was almost severed, and it was like ready for me to get it off. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is... Yeah. So I took the wing, and I have it here. And I'm so it's in alcohol and hazel witch with a flower and some leaves and I also smudged it with Palo Santo to clean it, to honor it, and to be able to use it tomorrow for the summer solstice. This was also a wish of mine, actually, to have a bigger wing to do a ritual with for the summer solstice. So it's like, okay, my inner shaman is, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I don't know what I'm doing with my head. I'm just following the nudges, the intuition. I'm just working with it. If you feel like this sounds like me, I want to dive deeper into my purpose, then these are some tips that I have for you that work for me. But as you know, you are unique. So what works for me doesn't have to work for you. I'm just going to tell you what works for me. And then you see what resonates, and then you go with that. So what works for me is drinking cacao, ceremonial cacao, not cacao that you buy in powder form, cacao that you buy in a paste. Make it into a ceremony. If you want to know more about ceremonial cacao, I'm interviewing someone who gives these ceremonies on Friday, and I will probably post it a week later. Another thing that works for me is meditation. I do daily meditations, and recently I even felt called to do them multiple times a day. I wake up really early to commune with the sun, and if I don't get it out of bed, like this morning, my body was so extremely tired that I didn't get up to see the sunrise. I did, however, light a candle on my altar. This was 4:15 in the morning. Light a candle on my altar and put on a meditation that every time it was finished, I woke up again and I put it on again. So that's something that I do. Yoga, some form of body work. I eat as pure as possible, which means a lot of raw fruits, a lot of raw vegetables. So I make a spinach banana smoothie, for instance, or a spinach with apple cider vinegar and water smoothie. I also eat really delicious things because it's important to me. To feed my body like that. So I also eat a lot of nice cream. In the nice cream, I add spirulina. So that's something that works for me. And I dress in beautiful things. I adorn myself with a lot of jewelry. I how do you say it? I use a lot of essential oils, and I am super creative with feathers. Like, I'm making all of these beautiful little creatings that I'm going to sell together with my vegan lipsticks and with Palo Santo and the stone, that I will physically and energetically clean, so that the person that will decide to gift it to themselves or to someone else, they can infuse it with their own intention. Wow, this is a long video. If you made it until the end, welcome to the end. I wish you a beautiful day. Tomorrow is summer solstice. Do something special for yourself, with yourself. Journal who it is that you are stepping into. And I see you soon. Sending you so much love.